All right, only two games of playoff hoops on a Saturday night. The Knicks lost. Other things happened too. We're gonna get into it right now. We have a special guest. We'll get into that a little bit later. My name is Shlomo Stark,
My name is Levi Jacob.
and this is the NBA Daily Recap in 15 minutes or less. Levy, the Knicks lost, so I needed to cheer myself up. So I brought on the pod one of my favorite people. Uh, I've as fans of the pod know, I've been traveling, and you can see it on the video. I'm somewhere else every day. Sometimes it's a phone, sometimes it's a desktop. But I felt the
Sometimes it
need
looks
to
like
have.
you're in. Sometimes it looks like you're in San Francisco.
There we go. Nah, that's the Zoom background. Very good. So we got my man Porat here. He's right over here. If you're watching on the audio, he's on my right. You care. And he is a basketball expert, sports expert in general. It was his bar mitzvah this past Sabbath, Shabbos for our Jews out there. And he's got a lot of thoughts on basketball, life in general. It's great to have him on the pod. So Porat, say hello.
Uh,
Amazing. Man, a few words. Let's get into it. Um, Timberwolves beat the Warriors game of the day for sure, 102-97. The Warriors actually surprisingly kept it close, but Anthony Edwards was just too much, especially in the fourth quarter. Finished with 36 points, and the Timberwolves overcame a great Jimmy Butler game. Vintage, I would call it. Miami-esque. Miami Finals run-esque, I should say, to be more exact. He finished with a 33, 7, and 7. Porat, your thoughts on the Warriors Timberwolves series?
yeah, so at the beginning of the series, I really didn't know who to pick. I thought this was going to be a close one, but then Stephen Curry went down with an injury, and then I had Wolves in 6. But I think if Steph Curry didn't get injured, it would have been Warriors in 7.
I respect it. I respect the call. If you were to pick one healthy player this series, Anthony, not their career, but just one healthy player this series, Anthony Edwards or Steph Curry, who would it be?
Anthony Edwards.
Levy, what are your thoughts on that? You're a Steph guy.
That's a strong pick. Listen, I would love to say that Anthony Edwards would have a better career than Steph Curry. I would love to see it happen. He is more successful than Steph Curry at the age at which he's at. I think that Steph, what was his first year with the Warriors when they really
There's
started
20,
on?
well, 2015,
2015.
well,
Nope.
2015 was the MVP season. 2014 was the Mark Jackson era still. So I don't know if like what you're asking.
I was like, yeah, when was Mark Jackson? When did he have like his first like
That was
fully healthy season?
2012. He had the game against the Knicks. Remember that game in the Garden? He dropped 15. I was like, what is this guy doing?
Right. So right
Steph
now,
is well,
Steph is 24. Steph was 24 at that time. Right now, Anthony Anderson is 23. So listen, it could be. That could be the trajectory of Anthony Edwards' career. He's had a very successful career so far. He could keep up with it, especially if he's shooting like Steph, like he is now, you know?
he's been great in the playoffs. He's just been phenomenal. Um, I also we got to give props to Julius Randle, former Knick. I'm really missing him now as the Knicks. I'm gonna get into the Knicks in a minute, but the Julius Randle was great, and this Timberwolves team when they're going is a very scary team.
Yeah. They have a lot of athleticism and length and a lot of skill. So it really just at times feels like a barrage of things. And it's hard to get away from, especially if you don't have so many players to help you offensively, is the truth.
Yeah, and I do want to give props to the Warriors, because they kept it close. Kuminga had 30. Kuminga's been lighting it up. So we've been talking about Kuminga a lot on this pod. So good job by him. But Timberwolves got the job done. I also really, and we'll finish with this on this game. I don't think Steph's going to be back.
I I find it hard to believe that he will. It is possible if they keep the series closer. I think that he might be, but he was supposed to be reevaluated from a week from when he got injured. So what is that? That's like a Wednesday or whatever. You know,
Yeah, it's
like,
game 5. So it's
and if they're down already, like 3-1, it's there's no point
tough.
really.
They need a win. They need a win. I guess we'll see what happens. Next, Celtics. Celtics beat the Knicks in Madison Square Garden 115-93. I got to watch this game with my man Porat here. As I was watching it, I realized something that I'm upset at myself for not realizing. I've allowed myself to be the most hyped I've ever been about the Knicks when they were up 2-0 against the Celtics. And then something hit me, which is there have been 3 games, which means there have been 12 quarters. I think Boston has won 10 of the 12. And the Knicks 2 they won were the 2 fourth quarters in game 1 and game 2.
They had a stat that was like out of the minutes that have been led in the game, the Celtics have led the series by 80 plus something minutes, and the Knicks have led in like 12 plus something minutes. Like it was before this last game.
Yeah, the Celtics have been completely dominating. I was mistaken on that stat because the Knicks won by 4 when nobody was trying in this game. But from start to finish, the Celtics just weren't missing. Listen, you could chuck it down to the Celtics shot 50% from 3 and the Knicks shot 20% from 3, and that's really all it was. But it was more like Tatum was feeling it. Derek White was feeling it. What's that guy's name? Peyton Pritchard was feeling it. I hate Peyton Pritchard. Whatever. Yeah. Oh, Porat. Let's go. Give us your start.
I really think the Celtics would have won in like 4 or 5 if they were actually hitting their threes this series. Like in the first 2 games, they could just not hit their threes in the fourth quarter. That was actually insane.
Yeah, I would argue that last night you were saying that Tatum had his game. He hit a couple of threes at the top of the break. To be honest with you, it still wasn't a Tatum game. He was 8 for 20. Like it's not terrible percentage wise, but he literally wasn't doing anything for me that showed me that he was like doing anything other than trying to take threes from the top of the key. It was
He was hitting his threes. He was hitting his threes. He was 5 of 9 from 3.
but still do something else. Affecting even like again, it doesn't fix the issue for me that I feel like I don't see him out there. He just hasn't shown up. Like this was a good example of like a productive way that you can do that and still take minutes off. But I just really didn't see him out there. They were playing awesome defense, the Celtics. I actually I don't remember what I predicted on the pod on Friday, but you can see I have evidence. I texted Ben Tobin, special shout out to him, and
Yeah, close friend of the pod.
and I was like, Ben he's a big Celtics guy. I was like, Ben,
Yeah, from Boston.
I'm afraid you're gonna have a lot to cheer for tonight. I just had a very strong feeling that the Celtics were just gonna whoop the Knicks in this game, and it happened. It was upsetting to see.
Yeah.
Also, I think
We can't go back to Boston 2-2. I'm so nervous.
Yeah, it's gonna be really, really rough if that happens. And also, I think that Towns is like pretty heavily injured, and he plays up the dramatics at certain points.
Injury didn't look good.
It's his left at least, but it doesn't look promising.
Correct.
Yeah, this is
so. What? Sorry, go.
no. I was saying this is the game that was the poor shooting game from the Knicks. Like all the other impact plays that they've had throughout the series were not able to produce as well this game. And on top of that, the Celtics had a much better shooting night, including Peyton Pritchard contributing. So, if this game is kind of like an outlier, I think that the Knicks have a chance, at least in the next game, to at least make it closer. But they were
the big loser of the game was Madison Square Garden.
Yeah.
Like OG had 2 points, 2 rebounds, 1 of 6 shooting. Like Precious Achiuwa was playing a lot. I don't know what was going on there.
You know what? Those minutes though, where Precious and Mitchell Robinson were out there, they were dominating glass. Like I was watching.
They were dominating glass, but they were still losing by 20.
But that was from the beginning.
That's the power of this Knicks team. There were Precious Achiuwa minutes where they were down 20, and you're looking at me like, dang, like they look good, but they're down 20.
But the rest of the minutes, they weren't doing much else either. Like nobody else was really contributing that much. So
Correct.
At least something. Like if the Celtics can't get boards, that's a way to get an advantage. But they just couldn't. They couldn't pull it together, unfortunately.
Correct. All right, let's do predictions. which is props to Denver for winning on Friday night, and props to Cleveland for getting it. I don't think we should talk about that game so much because it was just a while ago now. And we like
It's the one.
good job, Denver. Good job, Cleveland. Let's do predictions. Porat, we're gonna do predictions now.
Right.
All right. So we have Denver OKC this Sunday, 3:30. OKC is favored by 6.5 points. Denver is up 2-1 in the series. Porat, you lead us. Who do you think is going to win tonight? Denver
Well,
OKC.
originally, I had the Thunder winning the championship, and I thought they were just gonna like destroy. Like I thought they were gonna win this series in 4 or 5 games, but like now I'm questioning it. But I have Thunder by like 10 tonight.
I like it. Levy?
Strong pick. Yeah, I think it's the Thunder. I think that they just couldn't produce the same game last game they did 2 games ago, and I think that they're like really if they want to stay in this series, they need to be able to win this one.
I have Denver because and my logic is the Friday night game which they won in overtime, that was the bad Jokic game. It was all Porter and Murray, and I think Jokic has like he's this basketball cyborg crazy person, and I think he's like, wait a second, if I just get my 40-20 tonight, they're gonna have to come back from 3-1. So I think, and he's home, so I think he's gonna be locked in right now because he's the best player in the world and he's super competitive, and he's like, wait a second, if I can just put it all out there tonight, I could try less hard because going back to Thunder 2-2, it's like you lost because nobody has Denver in this series. Like Porat mentioned, people have them in the finals. So that's going to be really, really tough. So I have Denver in a very, very close game. Cleveland, Indiana, Porat. Cleveland is up 2-1. They are favored by 5 in Indiana. They are down 2-1. Who do you have tonight?
So, same thing on this side. I thought the Cavs were gonna win in 4 or 5. Then the Pacers, they took the first 2. What was it?
Yeah, first.
Yeah, but then
Cavs won last night.
now, then I started thinking that the Pacers might take it. But then Friday night, when did they play their last?
Friday night.
Friday night, Halliburton had 4 points, and not very good showing. I think he might bounce back a little, but not enough. So I have Cavs in this one.
Yeah, like you're saying, this was the first game where they had all 3 of those players that were out back, being Garland, Mobley, and Hunter. You saw it from game 1. Without Garland there, they were missing a lot of 3-point shooting and playmaking. In this game on Friday night, you saw everything moving differently. I think that Cleveland is the better team. I think it's quite obvious Cleveland's the better team. I think that they could actually win in 6, Cleveland. And the Pacers, I don't think Tyrese Halliburton's gonna have 4 points a game. They're playing great defense though. It's gonna be a more competitive game this game, but I think that Cleveland is definitely taking it.
I love it. I also agree. We all have Cleveland. That was the NBA Daily Recap in 15 minutes less. I want to thank you, Levy, for co-hosting, for producing. I want to thank you, Porat, for coming on. It was great having you. And I want to thank you for listening.